The situation of widows, survivors of sex and gender-based violence, the situation of the orphans, they remain very tough, and a lot of work needs to be done to end widow abuse, to end orphans and teenagers abuse, to end sexual and gender-based violence. A lot of counseling, a lot of counselors, a lot of resources are needed. Also, we need a center where all facilities can be available. Meet Violet, a survivor of rape. She was sexually assaulted by a welder. She is 13 years old. I met her when I visited one of my friends in hospital, and Violet is willing to go back to school.
Kuna siku nilikuwa nimetumwa chakula, nikakutana na kijana mwingine hapo akanituma bamba, nikamletea, nikarudi nyumbani. Siku ingine akaniita alikuwa kwa ploti yenye wanaishi. Nikaenda, akanipeleka kwake, akafunga mlango, akaniweka kwa kitanda yake, akanitolea nguo, akanileta.
This is Nyapola, one of our mature widows. Nyapola lost her house, which got burned down.
Hapa nilikuwa bedroom. Ndio kwa bedroom. Kuna kile kilitoka hapo kama moja, kila kitu kilienda.
Hii yote ilikuwa ni nyumba moja?
Hii nyumba moja, hiyo pale ilikuwa huku ndo moto ilianza. Ilikuwa nyumba mwingine. Sasa hii ilikuwa yangu, hii bedroom yangu, hii ni ya watoto.
Kwani kila
kitu nguo zangu zile.
Ilikuwa ni usiku?
Mchana saa 9.
Kama hakuna watu ndani?
Mimi hakuwa na watu. Lakini kwa jirani kulikuwa na watu. Kaya mwenyewe yangu anaitwa Rosemary Akinyi Nyapola. Kutoka West Alego, Kumenya papi yangu. Mimi ni mtoto wa Bethlehem Nyango Kanyunda. Hapa nakaa Lakisama. Mzee aliaga 2004 mwezi wa 8 tarehe 30. Aliniacha na watoto 9, lakini nyuma yake vijana wawili wakubwa wakaaga. Dani Lumonda alikufa 2006 mwezi wa 7 tarehe 19. Ndio wa kwanza, ambapo na hapo kabla ya mtu wangu kufa mwezi wa 2005 mwezi wa 11 tarehe 5 nilikatwa na wajambazi hivi vidole mpaka kichwa. Nilikata hapa tu juu. Nikamaliza karibu miezi 2 sifanyi chochote. Samaria mwema ndo alikuwa ananisaidia. Nikapona, nikaanza kuendelea na maisha yangu vizuri na watoto wangu. Ndio kijana wangu akaua kidogo. Kaenda Kenyatta kamaliza mwezi 1.5 akaenda.
My name is Dianah Kamande. I'm the founder of Come Together Widows and Orphans Organization, an organization that works with a widow, survivor of domestic violence or gender-based violence, and the orphans in Kenya. This organization was formed on 14th September, the year 2013, and the organization helps to address the plight of widow in the country. The organization also helps the survivors of sexual and gender-based violence to understand they have a right stipulated in the Constitution, because Chapter 4 of the Constitution of Kenya speaks about the Bill of Rights, where everybody has a right. So the main reason as to why I started Come Together Widows and Orphans Organization, I felt when I became a survivor of domestic violence, my rights were not taken care of. I faced a lot of accusations. I was told that I had killed. I was taken to court. I had to go through the court process so that just to ensure that I got my right. What is the right of the widow's child? What is also the plight of this child? When the father dies, the children are disowned. Paris and Faith are beneficiaries of the YES Foundation. The YES Foundation pays for their tuition fee and also helps in their upkeep.
I'm Paris Jerry Karaja. I'm 17 years old. I'm in Form 4, St. Francis Mokoine Secondary School. I'm the firstborn in my family of 3 siblings, and I'm grateful for the support of YES Foundation because they has helped me continue my education since I'm in my 4th year in secondary school, and I'm looking forward to get a good grade to join university and pursue a medicine course.
I'm Faith Wanjiru from a family of 4 children. I study at St. Francis Mukwini Secondary School and I'm in Form 2. I used to have challenges of school fees, but now I don't have because of AS Foundation, which has been paying school fees for me. And I would like to join university after my Form 4 and become a lecturer.
I met Wendy in the year 2014. She was being mistreated by the relatives that she was living with. And when I realized that she was willing to go back to school, we made an effort to reach out to well-wishers. And I thought as a girl she was very vulnerable. I used to find her outside at 9 p.m., sometimes up to 10 p.m. She's outside and she's a girl. One, I realized that she was vulnerable. Two, she was exposed to sexual harassment. And then I thought, as an adolescent girl who is willing to go back to school, we could do something together with my friends, and I could also reach out. And when I reached out, I found people who are ready to support her education. This year she is finalizing her final exams in class 8. She'll be sitting for her KCPE. And my wish is to see Wendy in a good secondary school, also to see Wendy in a good university. And I would appreciate so much if you come on board and help me support Wendy's secondary school education. Thank you.
So by forming Come Together, it gave widows a space where they could come, reason together, cry and lean on one another, and also create support groups where they could discuss their inner issues that they could not share with anyone. By forming the support groups and also getting psychosocial support, we also learned that these widows, despite discussing their inner feelings with one another, they needed economic empowerment, because after leaving the support group, these widows had to put food on the table, these widows had to take children to school, and these widows had to pay rent, they had to buy clothes. All the basic needs now lied on the widow. So we found out there was a need to come up with economic empowerment projects, and we came up with projects like beadwork. The other projects, widows started making soap and selling the soap. They started by themselves. They were making some of the products and selling to one another. The product that this group is making is not what the other group is making. So it was like just a one-stop shop within the support groups. The group that makes soap sells soap to the group that makes beadwork. The one that makes products of beadwork like belts, sandals, bracelets, they used to sell to the ones that is the group that is making soap. So it was like empowering one another within ourselves. Then so many people came to learn about what we were doing, and people wanted now to come as individuals just to buy from us and ensure they promote us. Churches here in Kenya started partnering with us, and some of the pastors could ask their members to come and buy from our organization. This is how we have been able to grow. But challenges continued, because as the group grew, widows started coming on board. Every widow started learning there is somewhere I can go and I can raise my voice and I can be heard. I can go and cry and I can get a shoulder to lean on. So the need was so great. The numbers kept on growing. And when this need was too much, there was no other option. But as a founder, I had to go out, reach out to my insurance and request them to close my children's education policies so that I could get the money back and inject the money so that these widows could get some capital to keep on growing their small support group businesses. The financial challenges at least came down when I did that, and that they got money to continue running their support groups. The government didn't know the plight of widow, and especially the young widows, those who are even being widowed when their husbands go to protect the nation, the KDF widows, the GSU widows, the widows of the disciplined forces. We formed a support group for them. We started empowering them because we came to realize we have a data of over 16,000 widows of disciplined forces. Most of them are young, between ages 19 and 36 years. Most of these KDF officers marry when they are young. The widows are left 19 years to 36 years of age.
The story of Martha Muthoni, who is a widow to one of the late KDF soldiers who lost his life while on the line of duty in Somali.
Naitwa Martha Muthoni Chege, bibi ya Beresh Josiah Chege Kamau. Alikuwa anafanya na Kenya Defence Forces. Alikuwa based Somali. He died on 27th of January. Akaniacha nikiwa 8 months pregnant. Na nilipata mtoto after tumemzika, by the way, the third week after mazishi. Yeah. Okay, since my hubby died, you know, he was my breadwinner. So mimi nilikuwa tu housewife. So you don't expect it. Okay, sina job. Nilikuwa na expect yeye ndiye alikuwa anatupea kila kitu. Na so since he died, maisha imekuwa hard. Provide watu, niko na 3 kids. Very young kids. Mmoja yuko 7 years. Huyo mwingine yuko 2 years na the last one kako 3 months. So to provide for the kids imekuwa ni hard, ni ngumu kabisa, kwa sababu you see the kids are still young. Wanahitaji at least, you know, na bado okay, you see kama the last 2 kids maisha okay, walikuwa wamezoea kuishi maisha poa, baba yao akiwa hai. So you don't expect it is I once maybe kuteseka.
These widows need a lot of support because they are left young, some are left pregnant, some of them are left without businesses, they're just housewives. Some of them are just young girls who after their Form 4, they decided to end up in marriage. Some of them need education. So we introduced adult education through partnership with our county governments, and some of these young widows have been taken back to school and they have been able to do something. I was invited to one of the media stations, and the founder of Yes Foundation reached out to me. I had thought for a long time about the children of widows and even the orphans, the total orphans in our organization. They are teenagers, most of them, and there was not even any manual to use when we are talking to them during our mentorship programs. And when he told me that he's working so much with the teens, I thought if we could have come together and now decide to work together as a team, it could have been a good thought. And this is how Come Together Widows and Orphans organization started working with the Yes Foundation, who decided to send us their book, The Strategy to Edify and Empower Teens, so that we can use it now as a manual, which was just donated freely to us. Whatever dues that they have been getting from selling the books and even from their own work, they decided to partner with us and at least send some of the money to help us work with our teenagers. It has been very good to work with them, and we came into partnership now.
This is the piece of land that we have managed to acquire as the Yes Foundation and Come Together Widows and Orphans organization. This is where we are coming up with a center. It is a future home of Come Together Widows and Orphans organization, together with the Yes Foundation. We are going to have a church here. We are going to have a school. The school will be a unique one. And we are going to have a counseling and a moral center here. We are going to rescue survivors of domestic violence, sexual violence, all forms of gender-based violence. And we are going to have safe spaces for them. Because in this land, we are going to come up with a space to do farming. We are going to do greenhouses. Widows will continue doing their beadwork. Survivors of domestic violence, gender-based violence, sexual violence, who go through these forms of violence because of their economic lack of economic strength. We are going to empower them, and they are going to do their projects here. We are going to source for market, where we are going to sell whatever they make, because even the word of God says God will bless the work of our hands. So for this project to start, we need money. A lot of resources are needed for us to put up something here. We want to come up with several buildings here. We are going to come up with a school from kindergarten, primary school, and also have a secondary school, just to ensure that we empower anyone that our organization touches. According to the vision is too big, but we know the space is small. We want to have story buildings so that we can utilize the space that we have. We are going to have an administration block, a secondary school, a primary school, an ECD center. We are going to have safe houses, and the safe houses will be divided because gender-based violence affects all. It is not only affecting women. Women are very vulnerable, yes. A girl child is very vulnerable. They are affected. But we end up forgetting the boy child. We end up forgetting even men. They still go through sexual and gender-based violence. So the safe houses will be houses that will accommodate the boy child, the men, and also women and girls. And since they are the most vulnerable, we are going to have bigger safe spaces for women and girls. But also we are going to consider, as we put up the safe spaces, we are going to consider the space of the man and the space of the young boy child who has been forgotten. In these safe spaces, we are going to have a doctor, we are going to have a counselor, and we are also going to have a pastor who are going to take care of their spiritual nourishment. We are going to have doctors who are going to help us. After we send them to Nairobi Women Hospital, where they are treated after they go through sexual harassment, gender-based violence, maybe like domestic violence or any other form of violence, we need a counselor. Because the doctors and the counselors at Nairobi Women's cannot come here, we are going to hire a doctor who is going to help them also while they are here. We are going to have a small clinic where they can get some painkillers, they can be bandaged, and they can go through dressing because some of them are wounded and they need a lot of dressing. We are going to have also a guest house because we are expecting people to be coming now, visiting our center, and also offering their voluntary services. We are going to have a guest house, and we are also thinking of coming up with a very small hotel, which we also, where our guests will be getting their services from the same hotel, and this will help us to have some income because the money that we will get from the guest house and the restaurant and the hotel, we are going to use that money to run the center. The money that we are going to get from the greenhouse after we grow crops and we sell some of them, we are also going to use that money to sustain the organization. But more so, we also need partners so that our vision may come to be fulfilled. We need partners who are going to do with us what we are, what God has put in our hearts.
To support this vision, you can reach out to us by visiting our website and also on our donate page on the same website. Our websites are www.yesnelson.org and www.cometogeWOO.org. To buy the book titled Strategy to Empower and Edify Teens, visit Amazon website, visit eBay website, or write email to wzzmey@gmail.com.